Welcome back to the continuation of our interview with Dr. Nima. I really wanted to cover something that's it's a very dear topic to me because I've had so many challenges with this.
You're not alone.
Yeah, and it's emotional eating and food addictions and sort of overcoming that. What do you have to say about that?
Well, the first thing that you have to understand is like addictions are addictions, whether it's for sweets or whether it's for crystal meth or whether it's for, sex or gambling. An addiction is something we do to run away from something else. It's to cover up a pain, right? And based on our relationships with food growing up, whether we were rewarded or whether it was suppressed, we'll either seek to it or we will stay away from it during times of stress. And people who have problems with their weight and their problems keeping it off, one of their biggest challenges is during times of emotional stress where their blood, cortisol levels are really high, which the building blocks are fat and sugar. We are genetically designed for a lot of times to crave those foods that will help us make more stress hormones. So the first thing that you want to do in dealing with this, this is a huge topic. The first step to overcoming an addiction is to first really get and understand what it is that you're getting out of the addiction itself. What is it that you're actually getting out of? What's the benefit? When you might be thinking there is no benefit, but the first thing, what is it helping me do? So what would you notice when we did this exercise together?
It was shocking. For me, it was, not being vulnerable and keeping myself away, not putting myself out there, whether it's on camera, whether it was in front of clients.
It's an excuse to have people. So many people don't realize that why they're doing this, there's an unconscious motive to getting fat and to gaining weight. And I've heard so many things. I've worked one-on-one with people, and the most common is, I was hurt in a relationship, so I put on the weight to prevent me from being attractive to a member of the opposite sex. Okay, so that's an unconscious, story that they're using as a benefit of getting fat. Others I've heard, a woman who had an affair she had a child, had an affair, almost lost her family, so all of a sudden gained weight as an unconscious strategy to keep the family together. So she's trying for years to weight loss programs, exercise, the weight's not coming off until she realized the weight gain as a strategy for getting your highest values met. So there's so many steps to this, but one of the best advices I can give to anybody who's struggling with this issue with emotional eating, with food addictions and weight gain and stuff like that is to sit down and really get really authentic and honest with yourself and write down a list of about 50 to 100 benefits of the addictive behavior of getting fat, of eating, stuffing your face, gives you a little temporary high. It makes me forget my problems. It makes me not the one thing that I'm not responsible for. I'm so responsible in my life. This is the one thing I can be irresponsible with. It helps me, helps keep a distance, me cushioned away. Oftentimes, high stress hormones, the cortisol, we start developing a cushion because we feel so attacked in our lives, so we want to kind of cushion ourselves from the outer world. So once you become aware of these unconscious motives, then you can actually take action steps to give you better strategies to get those things. But you can't get there until you first see what the motive is or what the benefit of you gaining weight and eating all those foods are. It's the first place to begin. Yeah,
and from my personal experience, it's completely eye-opening, and it takes you into a whole nother path. And when it comes to being able to follow nutritional advice that somebody like me can give or any other nutritionist, you can't really get to that. You can't really apply it as heavily as you can once you start to clear up your mind. So
you have to have a why.
Yes.
So if I tell people, if you wanted to lose, 50 pounds, and and you just can't do it, it's only because you don't have a why that's big enough. And that why has to supersede your unconscious benefit of getting fat. So if I came to you and I said, okay, in 6 months, you have a movie role playing opposite George Clooney, where you'll be in a bathing suit and you're going to be making out with him. And the role pays you $5 million. But the catch is you have to lose 15 pounds in, 60 days. You will have no problem doing it. Right? Because the why is big enough. You have certainty that it'll happen. You almost have to come up with a why that big in order to reach your goals. Most of us are setting goals that aren't really us. If I say I want a 6-pack because I saw a guy down the street have one, and it's not really a meaningful goal, then I'm not going to endure the pain on the path to it. If it's a worthy goal and it's connected with my highest values, I'll endure the pain and the pleasure in the pursuit of it. But if it's a low value, I'll only do it if it's pleasureful. So set goals that are congruent, come up with a why, see what the benefits are in you getting fat so that you can come up with a better strategy to get those needs met rather than eating.
Right.
It's as simple and difficult as that.
So, we could talk about this for so long, but just to summarize Dr. Nima's suggestions to really sit down with yourself and physically write it all down. So start with, what are the benefits of me putting on the weight? Or what are the benefits of me not being able to stick to this routine of exercise or nutrition? And I guess the second step...
At first that might be difficult to do because you can't see the benefits, but just be
but they're there.
There's some... It's there.
Yeah,
if it's happening,
there.
It's a strategy, it's happening, otherwise...
Yeah, you might not like the benefits, but they're there. And then the second thing would be, then in that case, to start to realize what your values are, so to connect those two.
And come up with a better strategy. If there's any questions, anyone can contact.
Absolutely. So this is Dr. Nima Ramani, and if you have any questions, please contact him. Go to drnima.com. He's got some awesome content on there that'll be able to help you, and he's a lot of fun. So, thank you so much for being here. And if you have any questions for me, please just let me know what you'd like to talk about, any more topics that are on your mind, especially coming up with what we were saying with the season. There's a lot of build up to it, so we can work through that together. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.